back to the second episode of a Flip the Switch Music podcast. My name's Hunter.
My name's Gio.
My name's Billy.
Josh.
And we're on episode 2. And today, like we said in the last one, we're going to be talking about Magnolia swimming. But first, anything y'all want to talk about that's been happening recently in the music? Because I want to talk about the I Love It video by Kanye West and Lil Pump.
Yeah.
Have y'all seen that?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen a little bit of it.
Yeah, it was kind of weird video.
It really was.
What'd y'all think of the song?
I mean, honestly, I didn't even listen to the song. I
Me
couldn't
neither.
even.
You might want to get a little bit closer.
I couldn't even take it serious. So.
But you know, it was weird. I don't know why Kanye keeps collaborating with all these random people like Lil Pump. I didn't see that coming at all.
Yeah, me either. Especially because I think Kanye West is like he's like the guy that makes you think about stuff or trying to get you to think about stuff. That's kind of weird.
Yeah, especially with like the summer with the good music rollout, all those albums he produced, where he did Pusha T's album, The Kids See Ghost, his. Never would have saw a Lil Pump collab coming. He's also in the studio with 6ix9ine. Did y'all see that?
Yeah, that's crazy.
What do y'all think of 6ix9ine?
That man is going to jail, but honestly, I can't even pay attention to 6ix9ine. I think he's too hyped up.
It's too hyped up. I mean, I like him. I don't want to say I like him as a person because of the allegations and stuff, but I can't help but laugh when that man posts on Instagram because he's so stupid.
Yeah, he's crazy.
Josh, what do you think of him?
6ix9ine, he's just chasing fame, and I mean he got the fame, but at the same time his music is really not that good.
You think he's gonna run out of fame?
Yeah, he's gonna run out of fame.
When you see it coming?
Probably like next year.
8 on the Billboard, man. He just got a Spanish song that's completely Spanish to chart at number 30 on the Billboard Hot 100. What do you think of that?
I guess it was just a lucky hit.
It's just 6ix9ine, I guess. He's going for 9 for 9 with Stupid or whatever it's called.
Yeah, for real.
Also, did you guys see the thing where Childish Gambino? I think it's I forget the name of the song. It's a video.
Feels like
though.
summer.
Oh,
Yeah,
Feels Like Summer.
Feels like
video,
summer.
yeah,
That
yeah.
was a really good video. I love that video.
too.
That's good animation.
It was good. I like that.
I feel like animated videos are coming back in full force, kind of.
Yeah.
With like the, I don't know how to describe it. More of a storyline to it.
I think some people were saying that the ice cream beside one of the animations was like XXX Tentacion's hair or something, but
the
it wasn't
person
that.
sitting on the bench.
Yeah, but it
it's
wasn't
X.
that. The
That
guy.
just reminded me. Y'all know the song Jocelyn Flores?
Yeah.
Did y'all see the parents of the girl that killed herself just found out about that song recently? And
Really?
Oh yeah.
Like X didn't ask for consent to the song or whatever to use her name. I forgot what it said, but yeah. What do y'all think of that?
Well, I saw on a post that they didn't really appreciate that.
Yeah, they didn't really appreciate that.
I think they're able to put legal allegations on him. Like, not legal allegations, but like I think they're able to get some money from that whole thing. If they plan to do that, I hope they don't, because his passing was kind of tragic. But
Here it is. I found the post. It says, in 2017, XXX previewed a song titled Garrett's Revenge, which he dedicated to a girl named Jocelyn Flores that had recently committed suicide. And he said, Jocelyn, I will have my revenge upon the world, he wrote in the SoundCloud description. But when he dropped it, it peaked at number 19 on the Billboard Hot 100, actually.
yeah,
And according to her parents, they had met for maybe just a month before that, and he didn't give him the courtesy of saying, hey, I'm like going to do this song or whatever. I hope you guys are okay with it. So the parents kind of aren't happy with it. They said they feel like he was using his daughter for publicity. What y'all think of that?
personally, I think that him making a song over it, it was used for publicity, but also it brings a lot of attention to their death, because I think a lot of people wouldn't have even known about her death unless they looked up the song, and I'm sure a lot of people did look up the song and what it meant. So I think it brought a lot of attention to him, yes, but it also brought a lot of attention and to suicide awareness. So yeah,
that's another thing they brought up. They were like, they're happy her message will like live on and stuff, and that it will bring more awareness to like the suicide stuff like that. And he also said that I forgot what they said, how they found out. Oh yeah, I think I can't remember if it was uncle and aunt or grandma and grandpa that were like listening to the radio and they saw it come up and they saw their granddaughters or whatever she was to them name on the radio, so they got confused and like looked it up and saw that. What do you think about it, Josh?
I'm just surprised her parents didn't even know about it in the first place.
You think they should take legal action?
I think they should, but it's all up like the court and stuff, what they think of about it.
Honestly, they can't. What you gotta say, Gio?
And I think they should. I mean, I'm sure X cared about her. So
Yeah.
Yeah, they did.
Another thing that they did say is with the Jocelyn Flores girl is that the reason she met X wasn't, what did they say originally? You're the X fan. What did they say originally how they met? Do you remember?
I don't remember.
It was something like a camp or something.
I don't remember.
But like the truth of how they actually met came out that her and some other girl were invited to X's house and they're like working on this modeling thing for this clothing or whatever, and then they got into an argument with two girls that were involved. This is just going based off rumors. I don't know if this is true or not, but they said some money got stolen from X and he kicked them out because of a fight. What y'all think of that? No opinions?
No, not really any opinion. Just two girls fighting. You wouldn't.
Honestly, if they were to take legal action, the parents, they'd be going at a dead man. So they'd be basically going at the studio. I don't see the point in it.
Yeah, it's kind of too late.
Yeah, they could just hold that grudge, I guess.
I feel like if they went after that song, it would be very looked down upon, especially by X fans. But because the dude died, and yeah, he did get a little bit of fame and glory off that song, and so maybe they do feel a little bad about it. But
that's pretty big.
You know, I don't think they should take legal action.
Yeah, that's a pretty good outlook on it. What anything else y'all want to talk about happening?
Current events? No, I don't think so. I think besides that, I think we're just about good.
What are some of the like best tracks y'all heard this week? Or recently? What are some tracks y'all want to shed some light on?
I like Feels Like Summer, but we already talked about that.
Definitely Feels Like Summer. I think the lyrics talk about a good bit about how the world is turning right now and how it's not in the best place right now, especially the global warming thing he was talking about, and how a lot of things are about to become very scarce, and so things are going to get serious pretty soon.
By the way, we're recording this September the 12th, so whenever you're hearing this is currently what's going on.
Absolutely.
And Josh, anything you want to add? Track you've been listening to?
I just been listening to Mac Miller recently. It's just hearing after his death. That's pretty much it.
Swimming.
Yeah.
The track I'd like to talk about is definitely Joji, the Moody R&B singer, released a new track today, and it's pretty good. It's called Slow Dancing in the Dark. It's pretty fire to me. I like that song a lot. He's supposed to release a video tomorrow. You listen to Joji, right? What do you think of him?
I mean, it's pretty crazy that he started as a YouTuber and he was like I guess you could say a comedian guy, but now he changed to like R&B.
That Moody R&B. What do you think of him? You're laughing. I'm guessing you've seen his YouTube videos.
I've seen
before.
his YouTube a little bit, but I haven't listened to a lot of his songs. Like I said, I haven't listened to any of his songs, but his YouTube's really funny. Filthy Frank, funny guy. I think he's a great guy in real life. I think his YouTube videos are just, they're just comedies, and they're not really professional at all. I mean, they're professionally done, but they're not professional at all whatsoever. But that's how comedy is, and so yeah, he's a funny guy. But I don't think, personally, I've never listened to his music, so I don't know.
I feel like reviewing his album whenever it comes out. It has a release time scheduled for sometime in September. He said in an interview with 88 Rising, which 88 Rising's the label he signed to, which is kind of like an independent one. It's pretty cool. It's got some 5 people on it. Rich Brian, the Higher Brothers, Keith Ape, all pretty big names. Anything else y'all want to talk about before we get into Mac Miller?
No, I think I'm good.
I think we're ready.
I think we're ready to go.
All right. So, Mac Miller's Swimming. This is where we're going to review an album. This is the first time we reviewed an album on this show. What did y'all think? Did you like it? No, I'll go around the room. I liked this is Hunter speaking, by the way. I liked most of the album for the most part. What'd you think, Gio?
Yeah, I like most of the album.
Billy?
There is only, I mean, I love the album. I like it very much. I like Mac Miller. I'm a huge Mac Miller fan, anyways. But there was one song I wasn't really feeling, but I listened to it anyways. Dunno or Don't Know, whatever. It wasn't
Hard to pronounce.
it wasn't the best song he's had on that he's made, or the best song on that album, in my opinion. But I did love the album overall. It was a great album.
What'd you think, Josh? Hold up. Before we get into Josh, you often don't even listen to other artists. You're one of those J. Cole fans. Just tell us real quick, who have you listened to besides J. Cole, really?
I mean, I listen to a lot of like newer singers or rappers, whatever now, but I mean, I'm just not that interested in like the mumble rap, like Jesus. But
yeah, Jesus ain't here today for this episode.
Yeah, but yeah, I mean, I just started listening to Mac Miller, and overall in the Swimming album, I thought it was pretty good. Not the best, but like I was into him like more than half of his songs in the album.
Yeah, it's pretty good. Speaking of Mac Miller, before we get any further into the album, have y'all heard any updates on stuff with him?
Actually, they're doing an autopsy. They haven't come out publicly with what he overdosed on. They just know that he did overdose, and that the autopsy could take even up to months to see what he really overdosed on. I think going back listening to some of his albums, he kind of predicted his own death. Like he kind of knew it was going to happen, and he was scared. And that's what makes it, for me, the worst thing, because he was scared of it happening, and he tried to get help. He tried to ask people for help, and he could have got. I mean, I feel like he could have took further steps to get more help, and he didn't. He just kind of let it get to him, and so I don't know. Personally, I don't know if he was doing drugs before he made Swimming, but I think
yeah, for sure.
I think he felt depressed after Swimming came out because some of the reviews and what people are saying. Maybe he like stopped doing drugs for a little while, and then he got back on them. When he got back on them, he took too much too soon because you build up a resistance to that, so you take more. But I think he took too much too soon, and maybe that's why he overdosed. But that's just my thinking.
What I do know about it is before Swimming was released, he had been like getting sober, and Ariana Grande was actually one of the main supporters in him getting sober, even though she had to break up with him. Can't really blame her for anything to do with that. Having to break up with somebody, you can't stay in something toxic. But they said right before he died, I remember he got into a car accident with a DUI. They actually dropped the case this weekend on it.
Yeah.
But back to the album. What'd you think of it, Josh? Like, what? Give us your hot take on the album. What do you think he could have done better?
Like Billy said, the song "Dunno" was not the best one. I kind of skipped over that because I was just not interested. It was boring, but most of the songs like "Self Care," "Wings," and all the others were pretty good to me.
Self Care and What's the Use were actually the two singles for the album, and Small Worlds was released in that little 3 tracks that he released at the beginning of the summer, mostly for the summer. So I don't know if he was like planning for that to be on the album or not. I actually really like the single programs. Have y'all heard that?
Yeah, I like the single programs. I listened to it when it first came out, and I seen when he dropped 3 songs. I used to go onto Spotify pretty often, actually, so I seen that, and that's the first song I actually listened to. Personally, I like it a lot. I like programs, and Small World is decent. Self Care is definitely what took the cake for me. I loved it, and plus his video on it, the whole coming out of the, being buried alive and then coming out of the coffin, and he was like smoking a cigarette when he was in the coffin, and I think that was a really cool video. And unfortunately, it kind of came to life, and his death is very unfortunate and tragic. But I think the video itself, very good.
Yeah, videos are getting really better nowadays. If I can mention that, besides with Kanye West and Lil Pump one that dropped.
Yeah, that was that was a little. I don't know why they even did that. Like, where they look like huge blocks. I don't understand.
Roblox.
Yeah, big blocks.
But do you have a track list open?
Yeah.
Can I see it real quick? All right, I'm gonna go track by track, and I'm gonna ask everybody, just say good or not good. All right, I'm gonna go with "Come Back to Earth," the opener, which I think is a really strong opener. Actually, this is Hunter talking. The instrumentation, the lyrics, how he was singing on it sounded really good. I felt like that's one of the strongest openers this year, even though it's not on one of the best albums this year. But actually, you know what? I can say it's one of the better albums this year. But the opener is really good. It competes with other openers. What do you think of "Come Back to Earth," Gio?
Yeah, it was pretty good. It was a good track to start off the album.
What do you think, Gio? I mean, not Gio, Billy.
I think "Come Back to Earth" is pretty decent. I listened to it a few times, and so yeah, I think it's a pretty good opener.
It was a better introduction opener than any other album, to be honest, and I really liked it when I first heard the album.
Honestly, I'm gonna skip down to the end real quick of the track listing to 2009. Do you think that would have been a better opener or "Come Back to Earth"? Because that instrumentation bit open.
Who are you asking?
I'm asking anybody right now, but 2009 and "Come Back to Earth," both. The 2009 song, I really love the instrumentation on that. How it starts off with a violin intro and then gets into the piano beat. It's like simple, but it's powerful. What do y'all think should have been the opener?
I think since Self Care was like it kind of described the whole album itself. I thought that would have been a really good opener because it kind of showed where he was at. It kind of showed that he was in his own place at that time, and he was kind of doing his own thing. And I think he was kind of recovering from the whole breakup with Ariana, and so I think he was kind of like slowly recovering, and maybe he was just taking his first steps and getting sober a little bit. And so I think Self Care would have been a good opener because it just kind of describes the whole album. It kind of puts a aurora over the whole album itself because that's really what he was trying to get at, especially because he made the video and everything. I think that would have been a pretty good
There was
opener.
a video for
But yeah, there was a video for Self Care, wasn't there?
yeah, "Self Care" and "Come Back to Earth." That
Was
just
there?
made me remember that.
Okay.
"Come Back to Earth," actually, now that I think about it more, is probably the best opener to go with it because, heck, "Come Back to Earth" could have been a closer too because
Yeah.
it's basically metaphorically returning from being sober, the breakup, all that, coming back to earth,
Yeah.
back to being normal everyday life. Let's go on to the next track, which was "Hurt Feelings." What'd y'all think of that?
Oh, that was one of my favorites. That has to be my second favorite, right next to Self Care. Hurt Feelings, great song. I loved it. I was I was working out the other day and I listened to it, and it's not really something you can really work out to, but I think it kind of gives you a little motivation. It kind of shows us where he felt. Where he felt with the whole situation, and he was kind of telling the public how he felt with the whole what happened in the past few years with the DUI and Ariana Grande and all that stuff. He's hurt
Getting
feelings.
sober, yeah.
Yeah.
What'd you think of that track, Josh? I know you said you liked it.
Her Feelings, yeah, to me it was the best song in the whole album, and I continuously listened to it on replay, and it was just a good song. Like, it had a good message, and like just showing everything that happened to him, like after the breakup and everything, just someone's hurt feelings. But yeah,
Alright.
that's all I have.
And hold up, what was the third track on the album?
What's the use?
"What's the Use"? That had the best bass line on the whole album.
You think so? I thought What's the Use
That
was
was
pretty good.
That was a pretty strong single to have. I liked that song
Yeah.
a lot.
Yeah, I liked it too.
Yeah.
How about you, Josh?
It was a good song. Like,
That's pretty much
you
all
guys
we
said.
gotta say about that that one. But here's where it starts to get a little bit indifferent. "Perfecto" wasn't that good to me. I felt like mostly what was good about this album is it had its runs, but it couldn't stay consistent in like its runs. Because what really could have saved this album would definitely have been a feature. I know he wanted it to be his own, coming back to earth, his own, like swimming by himself. But do you think this could have used a feature? And so who? Gio, who do you think it could have been used a feature from?
I'm not really sure about that.
Honestly, I can't say it could have used a feature. I think the whole premise of it was him. He was like, it was the album about himself getting sober. It wasn't, about anybody else. And I guess maybe if it had to have a feature in it, I think it would probably have been maybe Big Germ. I don't really know. I know some of his friends. He has a buddy named Bill, and I follow him on Instagram. I thought he could have used Bill, and he calls him Billy. He calls his name out in a few tracks and a few older albums. So he talks about him a lot. I think he could have been on. He's making his own music now. Bill is, and so I think he could have used him even because they're so close to home. They're such good friends, so they could have been together making tracks. What about you, Joss?
If Mac Miller was going to use a feature, I think he could have collabed with someone that was like feeling the same way as him or writing the same style as him. But besides that, I don't really know. It could have been just a solo album.
You know who I think it really needed, Bo? He's going on tour with one of J. Cole's people. He was scheduled to go on tour with one of J. Cole's people. I don't really feel like it could have used J. Cole, but you know who it could have used off Dream Bill? Definitely could have used JID. JID would have sounded perfect on one of these tracks. And JID's been on that hot roll, making the XXL cover. Everybody's saying he had the best verse out of any of those. His album. He has another album coming out this month that we'll probably review. Was going on tour with Mac Miller, so they were obviously good friends. I feel like they could have easily made a track with each other on this. Should have threw them on maybe Ladders or Conversation Part 1. But sorry if we sound lost. Some of it, we are trying to keep this as uncut as possible, so some of the times I might lose my train of thought. But let's get into the next. All right. No, let's just move on to the next track real quick while we figure this out. But the next track on the album after What's We Use and Perfecto. Oh, Self Care. We get back into that little strong grind. Self Care is obviously a good song. Billy already talked about that. I'm sure mostly everybody in here feels the same way about it. Then we get into Wings. What y'all think of Wings?
I think Wings was definitely pretty good. I thought Wings and Jet Fuel were I think they go together because they're like the second string songs of the song. So you have Self Care, you have What Hurt Feelings, and they're really good songs. They're both really good songs. I think those are the main songs. Those are the beef and the chicken of the meal itself, I guess, if you want to call it that. But then you have to have your second string songs like Wings and Jet Fuel, and I think those are really good. So personally, Wings I thought was really good because I think he was like trying to tell people he was getting sober, and he was kind of doing his own thing. And he always comes back somehow to his old flow where he used to be really happy and was kind of doing his own thing. He's never been like an angry rapper or like a dissing rapper. He's always been talking about how his life has been and how he's a happy guy. So
All right, I'm going to skip down towards the end of the album and ask y'all about two tracks on it. What y'all think of 2009? 2009, to me, obviously had the best instrumental, kind of one of the better choruses and all that. What do you think, Gio?
Yeah, it was pretty good. I like the beginning of the song.
The intro to that song was really good. What do you think, Billy?
personally, I think 2009 it was kind of reflecting on it was reflecting on his old album. So he was taking a look at, like Kids and stuff like that when it first came out, and he was kind of just saying, it's not 2009 anymore. It's kind of different. But I think he definitely was taking a look back on his old albums. What about you, Josh?
2009. I like the introduction to that song. Like, had a good beginning. I mean, good end too, but like it's a decent song.
How it fades out at the end, I really liked that too.
A good song.
All right, then we're gonna get on to the closer real quick. So It Goes. What'd y'all think of that?
I really like that song.
You really like that song?
Yeah.
Yeah, the song's pretty good.
Yeah, I think it was a really good ending to the album.
I feel like it was the strongest song on the album, in my opinion. What'd you think of So It Goes, Billy?
I definitely think that it was kind of a strong closer. It was really, it was just like heavy in general. He was kind of talking about his feelings and everything about him. So I think it was a little heavy to listen to, even. But I think it was good. I think it was good in my opinion. It was a really good closer. What about you, Josh?
I just have to agree with what Hunter said about that song. Good end for an album, and that's basically what I have to
Definitely.
say.
I feel like one of the main things that made this album so good is on the intro. I feel like it's necessary to have the first two songs sound really good, and then on the outro, the last two songs sound really good to close it. And I feel like that's what he did better than most albums this year. He managed to have a strong closing that brought you into the closing, and a strong opener that brought you into the album. But where he messed up is he didn't have a strong middle.
I can understand that. I can kind of agree with that. I think there's a few songs that deserve a little more attention, but that's I
Yeah,
understand.
because the album could have got no offense. Obviously, Mac Miller's a legend, but the album got sleepy at some point.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on to what was the favorite tracks. I'm going to start with Josh. Say your favorite tracks.
My favorite tracks on the album was Self Care, Hurt Feelings, and Wings. Those are my top three.
Billy, what about you?
Hurt feelings, self care. I can't say Wings for sure. I think Jet Fuel is pretty good, but yeah, self care and Hurt Feelings are really good. But also, What's the Use? I think What's the Use is really good, especially because he was just talking about his whole life. He
All right.
always comes back to talking about his life and how he's kind of progressed over the years.
Yeah, for sure. Gio, what were your favorites?
Well, there was a lot of good songs, so it's kind of hard to choose which were my favorite ones. But I feel like my really to-go songs were "So It Goes" and "Ladders" and "Wings" and "Hurt Feelings."
All right. My favorite tracks on the album were definitely the opener, Come Back to Earth. That was a really strong song to me. What's the Use had the best bass line instrumental on that album besides. It had the most happy instrumental. I'll put it as that because there's two songs on here that have really next level instrumentals to me. And then my other favorite songs were easily 2009. Beautiful instrumental, strong opener. Wish he would have stuck with the violins more on it because that sounded amazing to me. And then the So It Goes, definitely best closer on most of the albums this year. All right, now here comes the rough part. What was your least favorite track on the whole album? You could get one.
Least favorite track? It has to be Don't Know.
Why?
Album, that song was just boring, sleepy, got me. I don't know. It was just a skippable song in that album. It had no actual
Replay
feel
value.
to it.
It had no replay value.
No replay value.
All right. What do you think, Billy?
I think for sure I had to agree. I usually when I listen to music, especially Mac Miller, I'm driving. So when I wanna listen to music, I want to listen to something I really like, and personally I can kind of drive to and get a vibe with. And Dunno just wasn't there for me, and that's unfortunate. But definitely Dunno, especially when I also listen to music when I'm playing games as well. And I think Dunno was kind of a slow, just really slow song, and it was more or less quiet and just not really there, and it was a skippable song, and so yeah.
What was your least favorite, Gio?
The ones that I wouldn't really listen to ever again would be
Dang, that's rough.
no,
Pretty rough, man. Calm down.
Ones I'll never listen to ever again.
No, I don't want to be rude, but I feel like it would be Conversation Part 1 and Don't Know. And I mostly don't feel like they're not that good just because they seem the same to me. They're pretty bland.
Those were the exact two tracks I was about to say. Conversation Part 1 and Dunno. I feel like Conversation Part 1 was too braggadocious for him. He bragged too much on it, which I didn't really think the album needed because he was going so personal with it, and then we get into kind of a braggy rap song. I feel like where he could have saved that song though is like I was saying with JID. If he could have popped him on there,
Yeah.
that would have been fire. And then
So-
Dunno was just boring.
The scoring, we're gonna score the track or score the whole album itself, but I think since we have 4 people, we're scoring it 0 to 10. So
Yeah, but-
40 can be the maximum. We're gonna add all of our.
Oh no, we'll just go 0 out of 10 for all of us.
Okay.
Say whatever. But first, before we do that, real quick, I want to ask you, what kind of vibe were you getting from the album, Josh?
What kind of vibe?
Like what you were listening to. Billy brought up how he was listening to it in the car, and that made me really think
Yeah.
this album sounds better in certain situations.
Yeah,
What do
usually
you think?
it's just an album you listen to when you're by yourself or something. not really around people or like a hype up type of feeling.
Mhm.
It's just more of a calm feeling and listening to the music.
I like that. That's a good opinion.
I feel like
This is Gio talking.
yeah, I feel like this is more of like I felt like it was a chill vibe. Like I would listen to this when I'm like in my room and just bored. I just listen to this.
I've listened to this album about 7 times. The best ways I've listened to it are definitely in the car and when I'm just like laying around studying, stuff like that. All right, let's get into the scores. I'm going to start with Billy since you're the biggest Mac Miller fan. What do you give this out of 10?
Okay, so this is
And
comparing.
make sure you tell why.
Yeah, I'll definitely tell why. The reason. Okay, so I want to go ahead and start off and say I give this a 7 out of 10, and I say that because they were good songs. Don't get me wrong. These are songs that I will listen to. Like I listen to Mac Miller. I listen to him almost religiously every day. I mean, he's a great artist, and I love his music. So I'll probably listen to a good bit of these songs almost every day. But I say 7 because we're comparing it to his older songs. So, you got Good AM. That's a good album. You have Watching Movies Without the Sand On. That's a great album. Kids, obviously a
So
classic.
you know he could do better.
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, he hasn't hit his ceiling. There was no ceiling. I mean, there was no ceiling for him, and he kept going. He was so versatile with his music, too, and I think he could have kept going, and he would have been – I think he could have got top of the board.
Billboard.
Yeah.
He's actually, after death, which is kind of sad way to get there, he's scheduled to where he could possibly end up with a #1 album in a week.
Yeah. So, I mean, he's absolutely amazing album. Don't get me wrong. I think 7 out of 10 is a good rating, especially comparing it to Good AM. And personally, for me, in my opinion, Good AM was the best album. So 7 out of 10. How do you guys feel?
All right, Josh, I'm going to pass it off to you because this is going to be shocking. I've never heard you talk about anything but J. Cole, and to hear you actually like this album, I want to know what you gave it.
I'm going to give it a 7 out of 10.
All right.
It just like what Billy said. It was an above average album. It had good songs. Not some are not good songs. It was not like a middle song, like a middle rating song where like
there was no filler.
Yeah. It was just an alright album. Above average, and I think he could have done better in some of his songs and like towards the middle of it, but great album. Sad to see it was his last one, but
Yeah.
that's all I have to say about that.
There was stronger singles, and then there was not good songs. All right, Gio, what do you give this album?
I give it a 7 out of 10 as well. And I mean, I think it was a pretty good album, but it's just I like more upbeat type songs, and I could go to chill songs at some points, like just depending on how I feel. And I feel like Mac Miller did this album just because like what he was going through. So I feel like he would that's the reason why it was so like a chill album.
All right. Surprisingly, everybody in here agreed on the score. I don't see this coming a lot when it gets to some more albums, but I give it a 7 out of 10 too. Definitely not his strongest album, but it's in the middle. It was a good album overall. Pretty good listen. All that. And yeah, that's it for Mac Miller Swimming. Overall, 7 out of 10.
7 out of 10, yeah. I think
all this. Good
great-
songs, stronger
great
than
album.
others. Got boring at some parts, but he easily calculated and got like back up on
Oh,
the
yeah.
closing and all that. Any
sure.
albums or tracks y'all excited for coming out?
No, I think for right now, I'm just gonna kind of keep it on. I'm gonna keep myself on the download, look at some more music, some more artists, and kind of find what's good to talk about. But how about you guys?
Definitely excited for the Joji album coming, JID and Brockhampton. Those are the 3 main albums I'm looking forward to the most that are definitely coming. What about you, Gio?
I'm really waiting for JID's album and also Lil Uzi's.
Oh yeah, I'd like to hear that too.
I'm just waiting for any new J. Cole stuff coming out.
Album of the year.
Yeah.
What's
Yeah.
it called?
Freestyle, whatever.
He's releasing a mixtape called Album of the Year, I think.
Yeah.
That's supposed to go in before the fall off, or what was
Mhm.
it called? The
It was
next
some-
album.
Yeah, something like that.
All right.
But yeah.
Well, that's pretty much it. Next time we'll be talking more about music. All right. My name's Hunter,
My name's Gio.
My name's Billy.
Name's Josh.
and this has been the Flip the Switch Music Podcast.